Hello everyone, and welcome to this wonderful video all about passing your functional skills reading level 2 exam. What we're going to do is we're going to run through the exam. We're going to look at some hints on how to do it. So let's start off with SARC. I suspect you all know that I have been asking you all year to SARC your texts. That is, survey the text, analyze the question, reference your answer, and, of course, check your work. So, when you get your exam, you will see something like what you see on the screen here. It is so. I expect you all know this. This is not brain surgery. This is not rocket science. Read the instructions. Read the instructions of the exam. Then you're going to have a 10-second skimming challenge. You're going to look at the first text for 10 seconds. In fact, you could look at all three for 10 seconds. And within that 10 seconds, you should be able to say what the gist of the text is, what layout features you can see, and maybe, if you're very clever, you may even be able to find what keywords there are. Would you like to have a go at this? Yes, please, Tim. We really want to have a go at this. Well, in that case, I've got good news for you. I have it all set up. Okay, so watch this. So in those 10 seconds, you should have been able to see the gist, that is the main idea. Identify some layout features. We'll talk more about that later. And maybe even find some keywords. So here's what you should have been able to see. There it is. There's your text. Did you find the gist? There's the gist. It's right in the first line. It tells you exactly what this is all about. The gist, the main idea. It's in what's known as a headline. This is a layout feature. Now you may think I'm teaching my grandmother to suck eggs and you all know what a headline is. You would be amazed how many people get little basic things like that confused. There are columns. This is something that is very typical with an article. So if you get a question saying what features show you that it's an article, columns. There is also a text box, which is a box with text in it. Stop me if I'm getting too technical. There's a text box, and there's even a citation. That's a posh way of saying the reference, the source where it comes from. So in this case, the Children of Britain's Digital Generation is from the Independent, and this is from the other one's from the NSPCC. So it tells you where it comes from, which shows you that it is a source, and you can then assess the reliability of it. But that's another story. The second part of our SARC is analysing. What is it that we analyse? That's right, we analyse the questions. This has actually been done for us here by some proper examiners. Oh yes, nothing but the best for you. So, what does each of these quotations from text B suggest about technology? This is the Content Standard 13. I'm sure you all needed to know that. Identify implicit and inferred meaning in texts. It's testing whether you can identify not just the meaning of words, but the overall meaning of a text, even when it isn't explicit explicit, meaning exactly what is said. Question 6 here is about facts and opinions. By the way, this isn't just this exam. This is all the exams. All of the exams have a variation on these questions. So these same questions applied to different texts. So we're going to go through that. And of course, you know that a fact is it's something that can be proved, and an opinion is it's just someone's belief. And it's asking you to follow an argument. It's asking you to look at the text and decide whether or not it is a fact or opinion. It's not asking you to tell us whether you agree with this fact or whether you like this fact. It's asking you whether it is a fact. That is it something that can be backed up by evidence, or is it just someone's random idea? So, what about referencing? Good question. Referencing is where you look at the text and you take the answer from the text. You don't just take the answer out of the top of your head. You may know the answer. I believe that you are all remarkably intelligent. However, that's not what you're being asked to do. You're being asked to find the answer in the text. Remember, always remember, this is a reading exam. So they're testing your ability to read. So let's look at this question, which has been answered and marked for us. What does each of these quotations from text B suggest about technology? A digital divide. So here's an answer. Children are good with technology, adults are not. That is essentially what the text is saying. So it's condensing these things down, or rather in this case, expanding a statement to give a paraphrase of the actual text. Future-proof their career paths, improve the chances of getting a job. Would you like to know what the examiner said? Well, I'll tell you then. Children are good with technology and adults are not implies a divide and can be awarded. Improved chances of getting a job implies benefits of technology for work and can be awarded. Yay! This person got the 2 marks they were looking for. These are the 2 marks you are looking for. I should have this up. These are the 2 marks you are looking for. There we go. And the last part of SARC is check your work. Please don't leave the exam room, particularly don't leave the exam room early unless you have actually checked your work. This seems so obvious to me, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but there are people who don't, and it makes me cry. So please check your work before you leave the exam room. Is that okay? Thank you. So just to revise, SARC, survey, analyse, reference, check. Survey, analyse, reference, check. That is how I would like you to enter the exam room. As you are invited in, I want you to march in saying, survey, analyse, reference, check. Survey, analyse, reference, check. SARC, survey, analyse, reference, check. Okay, if you do that, you'll look slightly insane, but it will get you into the idea of how these exams can be passed successfully. Should we have a quick overview of the questions? Yes, please, Tim, that would be really helpful. Well, since you ask, here it comes. So, question 1 is always about you finding information from the text. Okay, in this case, your friend wants some information about finding a job. Using text A, identify 2 groups of people who can inform your friend about finding a job. So what you're going to do is you're going to survey your text. So that is, read the first line of each paragraph. It's known as the topic sentence. And that topic sentence will tell you what that paragraph is all about. And if you happen to find one about a paragraph all about jobs that IT can help you get, or jobs that or people who can help you find a job, that's what I'm trying to say, people who will help you find a job, there you go, it's done for you, and you find them and you write them down. 2 correct answers, 2 points, boom. Your second question is about style. And there's a few words here. So here, which word best describes the style of text A? Here there are a few: advisory, narrative, sarcastic and humorous. Let's go through a few words that might come up. Advisory is obviously about giving advice. Narrative is about telling a story. Sarcastic is ironic or mocking, the lowest form of wit. Humorous is funny. Serious is not funny. Apologetic is saying sorry. Encouraging is about building people up. Optimistic or pessimistic. Optimistic is thinking your glass is half full. Pessimistic is thinking your glass is half empty. Realistic is thinking, hey, someone's been stealing my beer. You could be disappointed, or you could be very happy about something, and you would be able to identify this by looking at the text, getting an overall feeling of the style of the text. Now, question 3 is about examples of language. Now, this is usually about tone, so it's either going to be informal. Informal language contains things like contractions, like I'm, colloquialisms, or slang. So if we look at the example here, which 2 of these quotations from text A are examples of informal language. The initial stage, no. Which role to pursue, no. Always a good move. That's what you'd say to your mate down the pub. Secure the right position, no. No, that's not informal. That's formal language. So that you're all set. Notice this. So that you're, not you are, you're. That is a contraction. Therefore, it is informal language. But also, you're all set is slang. You're completely ready. You are entirely prepared. No, you're all set. That's slang language. And therefore, that is informal. Now, the other side of this coin is that you might be asked to find examples of formal language. This is where things are written in full. I am instead of I'm. You are instead of you're. I've written here correct vocabulary, which may be slightly judgmental. It is vocabulary that you might use when you're talking to your boss or Her Majesty the Queen, God bless her. There would be no slang in it. In actual fact, you don't need to do your survey part of this SARC, because you can find the examples of formal and informal language with the actual just in the question itself, the initial stage, which role to pursue, etc. Notice this person only got one of these right, therefore only got 1 out of the 2 marks that they could have got. That's question 3. Shall we talk about question 4? Well, since you ask, question 4. This is one where your surveying is vitally important. When you survey, you should have read the first line, that is the topic sentence of each paragraph. Your text A, your first text, will look something like what you see now on the left hand side. That is, it will have a title. It'll also have the layout features that you see there for an email in this case. Then paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, etc. Because question 4 is always going to ask you to put a subheading on each paragraph. Some of them are done for you, but there are 3 that you have to do yourself. Okay. If you get 1 right and 2 wrong, you get 1 mark. If you get 3 right, which is what you want, you get both marks, 2 marks. You can't afford to throw any. The way you survey this is you read the first line, that is the topic sentence of each paragraph, and then you analyse. So you analyse the question, you find keywords in the given headings. So getting started, job hunting, time for experience. And you would say, look at getting started, for example, and you look at paragraph 2 and it says, it sounds obvious, but the initial stage, that sounds like getting started to me. So you don't actually have to go very far beyond the topic sentence to do this exercise. Reference. You find the same keywords or synonyms in the text. So if we look at another one, for example, we look at time for experience, and you're thinking about experience. You then look through and you find paragraph 4 says, once you have decided on your dream job, it is important to spend time in the workplace. Spend time in the workplace. Time for experience, experience, spend time in the workplace. This is sounding very helpful. Even if this means volunteering. Boom, we're there. We've got there. It must be time for experience. Then read it back. Double check. Look at the paragraphs. Do they really match up with these headings? And that is question 4. Let's go to question 5, shall we? Here's question 5. We've already had a good look at this one previously. This one is all about implication. It's asking you to understand the implication, what is implied by the text. That is not what is said directly, but what the writer wants you to understand without them saying. That's an implication. So let's sark it. First, understand the context of the quote. You're given a quote, a digital divide. So you go to the text, in this case text B, which is the one we started off with, and you look at and you find digital divide by scanning. You read where that sentence began. You read where that sentence ends. Read it in context. Context is king. Then you concentrate on each part of the quote. A digital divide. So you're looking for something that talks about a divide, a division, and you're looking for something that is specifically about computers and technology, a digital divide. So where we see children are good with technology, adults are not, this implies a divide and it can be awarded. Where we've got future-proof their career paths, we see improved chances of getting a job, and that shows benefits of technology for work, and therefore can be awarded. Okay. Does your paraphrase fit with the rest of the text? If you've paraphrased something and it means something completely different from what the rest of the text is trying to say, you probably haven't got it right. And have you explained it in full? Sorry, my face, although beautiful, is hiding that. I didn't design the PowerPoint well enough. I apologize a little bit. So, have you explained it in full? Have you explained the whole quote? Facts and opinions. Normally, I illustrate this with a video from Inside Out. I'm not doing that today. Probably. I don't know. I might do it post-production. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, fact and opinion. Your question 6 will ask you about facts and opinions. And once again, you probably don't need to survey the text particularly heavily. What you need to do is look at the quotes that are given. 3/4 of parents in the study talk to their children about their school day. Well, that's got, oh, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. A fact is something that can be proven with evidence. 3/4 of parents, that's evidence. This is a statistic. It's being presented as an objective fact. An opinion is something that is believed without evidence, something that is subjective. So let's go do the next one. Let's look at B. Some parents encourage their children to use technology as a way to develop skills. Well, that can be backed up with evidence. You can look at the study that found that. The average child in the UK knows more about technology than anything else. Well, that is a bit of a sweeping statement. How can you say that? The average child in the UK, no child in the UK, no child in the world is average. There's no such thing as average. And people are incredible. People are immensely valuable and important as individuals. That includes you. So the average child in the UK, I take umbrage with that bit, knows more about technology than anything else. Well, when I was that age, I knew a lot more about He-Man than about technology, and Battle Cat, his pet tiger. The children know an awful lot about an awful lot. So, for example, if they know about Minecraft, and they do, that doesn't mean they know about technology. They don't know how the programming works. They just know how to play a game. Again, if they know about technology, do they just know the names of all of the My Little Ponies? I think that's opinion. Let's look at the last one. Many children use computers, tablets, mobile phones and other gadgets every day. That is something that can be tested with a very brief survey. So that is fact. You can either do it that way, say that's definitely fact, that's definitely fact, that's definitely fact, not sure about that one, therefore it's opinion. Or you can just find one that is definitely opinion. Either way, whichever way you choose to do it, make sure that you can ratify, you can justify your answer. Make sure that if you find a sentence, you know why you have chosen that to be a fact or opinion. Question 7. Question 7. So this one tests your understanding of layout or organizational features. Part A asks you to find the answer to a question. And so you find the answer to that question, and then you look at where you found it. Organizational features are all over the place. When you look at any text, it's got organizational features. When we're talking about organizational features, ignore paragraphs because they're just expected. So in this case, the answer is internet, and the answer is not internet, but the answer text box is correct. It was found in the text box. Who provides advice for parents? Types of organisational features would include text boxes, headlines, subheadings, pictures, diagrams, numbered or bulleted lists. So these are really useful things to remember and to understand how which organisational features you're being tested on. Question 8, we're about halfway through now. Question 8 is all about two sides of an argument. So you get 4 marks. This is quite a big mark one, so take it seriously. It's also one where people often fall down. So you might have, as here, a problem and suggestion. Using text B, you're only looking at one text. Identify 2 problems. How many problems? Quite right. Well done, Mike. 2 problems parents have supporting their children with technology. And you find that they have these 2 problems, confidence, and they don't have time. And there are various other things mentioned. If you're being asked for 2 things, there's probably 4 or 5 in the text that you can choose from. Probably. Then the next one rolls on from that. Using text B, identify 2 suggestions. So we've got problems and suggestions, or possibly solutions, to help parents support their children with technology. And the offer is given of use online safety tools, and then they stopped. I don't know why they stopped, but they threw away a mark. Don't leave the exam room with empty spaces on your exam paper. Answer it properly. Other things you might be asked to find might include 2 positive statements, 2 negative statements, 2 problems, 2 ways of avoiding those problems, 2 examples of ways of doing something, and 2 issues with doing it that way. You'll be asked for 4 things. Each thing carries a mark. Try and get all 4 marks. 2 quotes. Question 9, we're over halfway now. Question 9. Using text C, give 2 quotations that suggest there is a lot to learn if you want to work in IT. You need to give 2 quotes from the same text. This one you're working on, this is section C, so you're working on text C. But just be careful. Look what's happened in what the examiner has written here. You just need to be enthusiastic about technology and prepared to work very, very, very hard. The first answer is correct. Yay! We like that. Let's have a look at the second answer. You will find the work interesting, challenging, and rewarding. There's a nice rule of 3 there. Well, that's the second answer cannot be accepted, as it refers to the benefits of working in IT rather than the fact that there is a lot to learn. On this question, take your time. Take a deep breath. Know the structure of your text. Read the question carefully. You can find key words, but read that question again. Give 2 quotations. How many quotations? That's right, 2 quotations that suggest there is a lot to learn if you want to work in IT. There's 2 things there. There is a lot to learn if you want to work in IT. These are 2 elements that your quote must have. The second one, you will find the work interesting, challenging, and rewarding, does not say anything about there being a lot to learn. Talks about working in IT, yep, but it doesn't talk about there being a lot to learn. Therefore, it's not right. When you found those key words, a lot to learn in IT, Find those same keywords or synonyms, words that sound the same. By the way, just so you know, synonym is a fun word to say. Synonym, try it. Synonym. Read around those keywords when you found them. You know how to do that. You find the keyword, then you read the whole sentence that it's in. If you don't get the context from that, read the whole paragraph it's in. And then check. Make sure that that each quote answers the question, the whole question. Okay? So make sure that it answers both parts. So there is a lot to learn. Does it talk about that? If you want to work in IT, does it include that? That was question 9. And this is question 10. Oh, and look, we've gone to a forest to have this question. Nice. I wonder why. Because this is all about language features. Pretty much every sentence in your text, in all of your texts, will be a language feature of some sort. Okay? They're all over. Almost every sentence will have one. Okay? So they're not hard to find. You just have to identify them. So this guy has found the rule of three. The rule of three for interesting, challenging, and rewarding, and he's quite right. And he gets 2 marks for them. 1 for knowing the language feature, 1 for giving an example. The second language feature he or she finds is emoting words. I would say emotive words. Oh no, it is emotive. I just didn't read it properly. Emotive words, words that create feelings and emotions in you. For example, here, passionate. Passionate. So he gets another point for emotive words, and he gets another point for a good example. He's got 4 marks. He didn't write very much, and he got 4 marks for it. These are easy marks to get, but first you need to know the language features. Wouldn't it be useful if you had a decent teacher who was going to tell you all about them? Oh, look! So, this can be remembered by the acronym DA Forest. DA Forest, which is something you can't see because of DA trees. Another story. So, for example, D stands for direct address. That's when you use words like you and you and I and us and we. You're talking directly to the reader. That is direct address, and you can. It's so easy to scan for. You just scan for you. Alliteration. That's the A of DA Forest. Alliteration is where you have 2 words beginning with the same letter. Clinking, clanking, colossus. 3 words beginning with the same letter. A smoky summer sky. 3 words beginning with the same letter. You can have it with just 2 words, like just summer sky. Alliteration, 2 words beginning with the same sound. You can also use rhyme, words ending in the same sound, which can create a particular feeling. The F of DA Forest is facts. So it comes no shock to you that the O of DA Forest is opinions, which we've already talked about. Things that can be proven, things that people believe without evidence. Facts and opinions. The R of DA Forest, you notice I'm repeating DA Forest a lot, is repetition. See what I did there? DA Forest, DA Forest. So repetition is where you repeat the same word. That's repetition. It's repetitive, but you know, repetition is a very useful feature of De Forest. It's very, very useful. See where I'm going with this? Emotive language, which is what was mentioned here as passionate. Words that make you feel something. Words with feels. So if you have a word like passionate or grandiose or words or horrific, these are words which are designed for you to have an emotive response to, an emotional response. The S of De Forest are statistics. Statistics. Lies, damn lies, and statistics. You can prove anything with statistics. So statistics are where you actually give numbers. Those of you who are also doing functional skills maths will be very familiar with statistics. And of course, the rule of three. This is something that politicians do a lot. So if you're in any doubt here, watch a politician make a speech. They will include three things, three words as a catchphrase, which they will then repeat over and over and over throughout the interview. Because the human mind works on not on binary, trireme, I don't know, on a basis of threes. So we understand things in terms of three, rule of three. The example given here, interesting, challenging, and rewarding. Three adjectives to describe the job. Question 11 is asking which quote. Okay, so which one of these quotations from text C shows that the writer has a positive view about careers in technology? And the only thing I can say about this is read the question. Read the quote carefully. It's only 1 mark, but it's a mark you don't want to lose. Just read the question carefully. Which one of these quotations? So you're only looking for one answer from text sheet C shows that the writer has a positive view. You're looking for a positive view. One quotation, the positive view about careers in technology. Taking the plunge into the IT industry does talk about careers in technology. Is it a positive view? No, it's fairly. It's not really. It's not really anything. C. I was the most computer literate person in my workplace. Irrelevant. I don't care. That doesn't talk about having a positive view. That's fairly neutral. This all helped me to get my current job as a web designer. So what? That doesn't tell you that you like your job. And we don't know what this is either. You will find the work interesting, challenging, and rewarding. Boom, boom, boom. 3 positive things, positive adjectives about the work. So that is the one. And you will get that only by reading the question. Question 12 tests vocabulary. And the nice thing here is you're allowed to use a dictionary if you want to. So read the quotes that are given. Showcase yourself to future employers, for example. Well, we'll stick with that first one. Give one word. You're looking for one word or phrase. So you can use one word or 2 or 3 words that fit together, phrase, to replace potential. The word potential. That keeps the meaning of this quotation from text A the same. So look at it again. Showcase yourself to potential employers. That's the word that needs to be replaced. You can look it up in a dictionary if you need to, or a thesaurus if you happen to have one with you or included in your dictionary. Or you can just do it from the immense resources within your own mind. Here the suggestion has been made future. Potential employers, future employers. Other possibilities there might be showcase yourself to prospective employers, ones who are not your employers yet, but maybe in the future. These would be words which could replace it. So you read the quotes carefully, then you understand the word in question. It's the potential employers that you're replacing. In the second one, remuneration is usually quite generous. Give one word or phrase to replace remuneration. It keeps the meaning of this quotation from text C the same. It's remuneration. So remuneration is quite generous. Wages, salary, pay. Any of these are possible. Money. The money. It's about money. So you use one of those words, put it in. You can use a dictionary to check, find an appropriate synonym and put it in. And use your answer in the quote to check meaning. Watch this. Showcase yourself to future employers. Does that have the same meaning? Broadly, yeah. Wages are usually quite generous. Does that have the same meaning? Broadly, yes, it does. And therefore, 2 marks. Yay! Question 13 is 1 + 1 + 1 times 2. Okay. Let's look at the. That's how I'm paraphrasing this question. Compare similar ideas from text A and text C about what you need to get started in a career. In your answer, you should include 1. It says give 2 similarities. Give 1 similarity. I'm doing it one at a time. A similarity from these texts about what you need to get started in a career. Give 1 quotation. 1 + 1. 1 quotation from text A and 1 quotation from text C to support each similarity. So each. You need to do this twice. So this guy, he got 2 marks out of a possible 6. This is a big scorer, guys. This is one which you have to take seriously. A lot of people fall at this hurdle. Don't be one of them. So give a similarity. Give 2 pieces of evidence, 1 from each text. Find similar passages in the 2 texts. Paraphrase the points, that is, put the point in your own words. Put the point in your own words. What is the point, the gist, the idea that they're both conveying? Then you quote both texts. You get 1 point for the similarity, you get 1 point for the first quote, 1 point for the second quote, then you do the whole thing again. Do it twice. And that will get you 6 marks. That's 6 marks worth having. I think you'll agree. It's big marks here. Don't throw them away. 1 + 1 + 1 times 2. Some of you might remember, if you are old enough, a sitcom called Sorry, starring Ronnie Corbett from The Two Ronnies, who played a chap called Timothy, who had a slightly overbearing mother who frequently would say, "Language, Timothy!" This was the bane of my life because my name's Tim for a long time. However, it does help us with entitling question 14. You see, question 14 is all about language. So let's look at the question, the example question. Which one of these statements about the language used in text A and text B is correct? Notice this person got it wrong. It's only worth 1 mark, but you know, that's a mark worth having. Let's get it. We need all the marks we can get. So let's have a look at some language features it could be. You compare the language features. That's deforest. Things that are written here, quotations, So that's direct speech. Things you'll find those in quotation marks. Direct address. That's where you use you. Humor. Something that's funny. Statistics. To support their point. Statistics. The S of DeForest. Numbers. And so you look at the language features of the two texts and what do they both use for the same effect? What do they both use for the same effect? And that is going to be your answer. Okay. You only have 4 things to choose from, so read the 4 possibilities and then go to the text. You should know the text well enough by now. You can then check. And we're on to question 15, our last question. This guy got 3 marks for this one, 3 out of 3 marks, so he got them all right. Look how little he's written. You don't have to write a lot. You know who you are. You don't have to write a lot, you just have to write the correct thing. And notice you're being asked for 1 example from each text. So you're dealing with 3 texts, 1 from text A, 1 from text B, 1 from text C. So let's read the examples question. Your friend wants information about different job roles in IT. Identify 1 job role in IT from each of the 3 texts. Text A, game developer, text B, software developer, and text C, web designer. Easy, happy days, we've got it all right. Each one is a job role. You're being asked for a job role. That's what you were being asked for there. With this, in the survey part, you should know the texts by now. You've just spent best part of an hour on each of the texts. You know what you're doing on each of the texts, on all 3 texts. You know what these texts are. You know them inside out. You've answered questions on them. You've worked hard on them. You know these texts. So it's time to analyze. You analyze the question. Be sure what you are being asked to find. So in this one, it's job roles, but it might be something else. It could be reasons for something. It could be positive points about something. It could be negative points about something. It could be problems. It could be solutions. It could be any of those sorts of things. But you want 1 thing from each text, as we see in reference. Scan the text for appropriate answers, which means if you're being asked for job roles, that's easy. You scan the text for job roles. Happy days, easy life, right? If you're being asked for reasons, you scan the text for reasons. If you're being asked for positive points, you scan the texts for positive points. Remember, you only have to find 1 in each text. So once you've found 1, move on to the next text. Make sure that each of your answers comes from a different text. Also, make sure that you have actually answered the question. That's kind of fundamental. If you haven't answered the question, then there's not a lot I can do. So, for each of those questions, I recommend SARC. Survey, analyze, reference, check. I hope you've enjoyed going through this exam with me. If you haven't, then please don't tell anyone. If you have, then please tell your friends. And I will see you all in class next term. Okay. Thank you and God bless.